Good morning, guys. Working on the car right now. We swapped brake pads. We got, of course, Hawk ER1s. So what I had left was pretty good, but decided to go with fully fresh pads just because we got 3 races today and didn't want to do this later in the day. And then the other thing I like to do, I have an intake duct right here in the bumper that feeds direct air into my filter, which is right here. And what happens is these filters get clogged with sand, especially if you're following behind other drivers. So I always like to replace my filters probably every 2 races. So we're gonna swap this today and then ride it for the rest of the weekend. But yeah, other than that, car mechanically is perfect. I'm probably not gonna make any setup changes. Just checking stuff over, making sure everything's gonna be nice and reliable, swapping the filter, and then we're gonna go for a race 2. We gotta top it off with some Motul 10W40 competition 300V. It's the good stuff. Oh yeah. And then I also need to tape up this corner light. Poor guy, brand new. Wanted to show you guys the trailer setup. A little bit of a mess right now, but yeah, it's where I sleep. Little Murphy bed, folds against the wall. Got some spare tires there, some shelving units, and here is where the magic happens. So, I want to walk you guys through this real quick. This is my Haltech setup, and this is my setup sheet. So, let me give you guys kind of a quick rundown of what's going on here. So, every event, I have a new tab open. So, that was my first event, the Putnam Park test. This was the test day on Thursday, and this is this event. So I have my pre-event setup, so where I do my alignments, you know, my weights, my ride heights, camber, caster, toe. The spring options I can pick from a selection of my springs. So currently running 220s and then 180s in the back. It's pretty stiff. You know, my bump stop setup, my damper settings, my anti-roll bars. Once again, I can pick my rates. I can change, you know, what settings they are on the LCA and the sway bar arm, my geo, wing, splitter, tire pressures. These are my rotor setup. That's my comp sheet. So that's how much power I'm running, 204 with the 50 mil restrictor. These are just some wheel rates, you know, ride frequencies, gear ratios, and then comments. So it's pretty intense. But yeah, it just goes, you know, first practice 1, quali, race 1, race 2, race 3, race 4, and then throughout the weekend I can kind of make adjustments here. So like, let's say for example, I wanted to soften the rear bar, right? So I'm gonna change my rear arm to 1, 1, and then you can see my rate for the rear sway bar went down 16%. So pretty cool, right? Let's say I wanted to adjust the ride height. I want to add some rake to the car. I'm going to raise the rear of the car 2 turns. Boom, boom. You see what that did? It also automatically calculated what my ride height is. So 130 mil, so I just raised it 6 mil, and then it also calculates how much camber is reduced. So it reduced it about 0.3 degrees of camber. So pretty cool setup. I worked a lot on this spreadsheet to kind of basically help me throughout the weekend, make it as user-friendly as possible and easy to kind of track all my changes. And then of course, at the end of every session, you know, I basically how much mileage the car has, what was my best lap, what was my finishing position, how many laps did I run, and then of course, you know, you got to add your comments. You know, the car was pushy or the car was great. And honestly, this whole weekend, the car is perfect. I basically rolled off the trailer and I haven't made any changes to the car, which is awesome. You know, I did a lot of setup work at Putnam, so I'm glad I did that. And I really got the car dialed in this weekend, and it's honestly feeling really good.
Hockey stick.
Alright, put the car on the ground and get ready for race 2. So race 2 will be graded based on fastest lap time from race 1. Unfortunately, even though I won, I got the second fastest lap time, but only by a few thousand. So James Houghton's gonna start on pole, I'm gonna start second, And then I think it's either Matan Rosenberg and Luke McGrew, third and fourth. But should be a good day. We got 3 races today, and let's get some more wins.
Yesterday at Carolina Motorsports Park, we were under a massive windstorm for much of the day. Today, vastly different. Beautiful blue skies. The wind is there, but much reduced. And for 2024's Grid Life Touring Cup, this is going to be fantastic. Welcome to Carolina Motorsports Park, and looking forward to this race. The race that we had yesterday with those incredible wins, it's very different today. What are you expecting from this field in these much improved conditions?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely expecting.
Well, and that's always the key here. You can see huge field there as it completely fills the false grid. Let's take a look now a little bit more in depth at this track. Chris, you've done a lot of racing here. It's very technical in spots, not easy to pass. It's a challenge.
No, I mean, all your passing is primarily done in your braking zones. The braking zone for turn 1, turn 8, and turn 11 are the key places to get by here.
Now, you can pass in turn 14, but when you're making that run out of there to the start-finish line, a pass can compromise your exit. And how is this track on tires generally?
With the repave they did a few years ago, it's gotten much better, but still, with the heat coming in today, it's going to be interesting to see how the heavier cars do.
Yeah, and that 4, 5, 6, 7 complex, really, really tricky to get right. When you do, it can even give you an opportunity through turn 8. 9 really doesn't exist, just a little bend. But that kink at 10, man, they're carrying some speed through there. Up front right now, that was an absolutely superb launch by Houghton and Coutil. They've already opened up. You can see that bit of a margin back to our points leader, net black, number 7. So he was dealing with an issue, but look at Houghton starting to stretch it, and McGrew now coming after Coutil. And look at this, McGrew going down the inside into turn 1 of Coutil, and that's what I'm talking about. Other series, you can bet McGrew would have just shut the door there, but because Coutil had that little bit of overlap, he had to give him that space. And we've seen guys in this series go through 6, 7 corners side by side. But that little bit of jousting between those two guys, look out the margin that Houghton's got here. Remember, these are 12 to 15-minute races. And if you get a lead like that, James Houghton, it's going to be difficult to get by him.
Yeah, and Rosenberg closed right in on that battle there after McGrew and Coutil went side by side. It allowed the people behind him close up, so.
Well, and this is a momentum class. You know, when you've got Honda Civics, very competitive in the class, including Corvettes. There's an LS. With big power, and there's a little error by Coutil, just lit up that unloaded inside rear. Even the Vets now become a momentum car.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you have cars only making 200 to 230 wheel horsepower, I mean, you have to take what you can.
Rosenberg and Walbaum taking advantage. Now he's got the inside through 14. Ow, that may have been an unintentional tap. Walbaum looked like he went to throttle and the back end stepped out and may have tapped Videk and knocked him off track. He got right back on again in a big hurry, but the 236 at Kozlow and that silver BMW really putting on a great run.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Coutil just had the fastest lap that time by, so he's closing out that gap on Houghton. We saw late in the race yesterday, Houghton fell back, so I'll be interested to see what Coutil did, as he also made a late charge yesterday.
Well, we heard, I haven't talked to Houghton, but we heard that in the race yesterday, he started having all kinds of alarms and, lights coming on in the car. And so hopefully they got that solved. And he has worked really, really hard on this program. I mean, the car has great potential. James is a good driver. And when everything hangs together, he's oftentimes an absolute threat for the win. But yeah, that margin now down to 1.7 seconds. And that's closing down in a real hurry here. That's well under a second right now, and we've still got plenty of race yet to go at this stage. Here they come, and you can see how much closer now Coutil and McGrew are, and we'll see what that official margin is. But yeah, under a second now, Chris. They are coming.
Absolutely. Yeah, Coutil is closing in very fast.
And you can see that group behind them again, Rosenberg and Walbaum, 4th and 5th, Kozlow and Videk, 6th and 7th. And Jensen has been both Cathers and Jensen have gone around Magnussen. And my bet is that when Cathers made the move, A bit in to try and plant those rears just a little bit, and now Catil is dropping McGrew just a little bit, and I think it is the gap between Houghton and McGrew hasn't changed. It's Catil now driving away from McGrew and closing on Houghton.
Yeah, I think the tires are getting hot on the heavier Corvettes. We saw exiting the carousel there, Rosenberg had a bit of a slide, so I wonder if they're just overheating their tires now.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, you think about sometimes what aero does. If you're not running aero and the back end starts to get happy with these heavier cars, then they slide, and that's when they start to really overheat tires. So aero doesn't just give you extra sticks. Sometimes it can improve your tire life because the car's not sliding and that track's not becoming a cheese grater. So that's just one of the many nuances that makes this sport so fascinating.
Yeah, and that lap, Vidoc managed to get around Kozlow, so he's moving back up.
Boy, for a second, Houghton had fast lap of the race, then Catil came through and stole it back again. That margin now down to 7 tenths, 9 tenths last time by. So Catil is definitely moving up, but Houghton clearly has responded a little bit. And I wonder if maybe he just took a lap a little easy to get those front tires in better shape.
Yeah, Houghton definitely went for a heavier formula than Catil on the power to weight, and so with that, he's going to overheat his tires a bit more. We saw how Catil just made that late race charge yesterday, so yeah, he's trying to do it again.
Well, he is so savvy. I mean, that was, you know, I would say, ooh, that's lap car, but getting way out of the way. Catil, that was, you know, that was what you truly would call a well-judged race. He played that to perfection, and it looks like he may have the same gambit going on today now. But here we go now into that really tricky complex, 12 and 13. And once you turn into 12, super late turn in right, and then you just let it unwind. And the wider you can run, the easier it is to accelerate.
Yeah, and Catil has been so good through that section the entire weekend. You know, look at this gap here.
Oh, it's coming down as we are now under 5 minutes, but that could be even shorter here. And we're going to see, and yeah, Houghton is slowly dropping in to the grasp of Eric Catil. The margin now 4 tenths of a second officially at the line. Don't need us to tell you that. You can see how close it is right now, and this is just fascinating. That race yesterday was absolutely superb, and this one's looking to be as well as good. But those two cars up front have really started to drop McGrew a little bit. Again, your points leader coming in, and Rosenberg, Walbaum, another 3 seconds back. So it's mano a mano right now between these two front-wheel drive machines.
Yeah, but McGrew's still keeping the same.
Catil, look at that, almost getting a nose underneath. It's on, and Walbaum attacking Rosenberg for that 4th and 5th spot. White flag coming out, last lap. Can Catil do it again? He made a pass for the win on the last lap yesterday. What can Houghton do right now? Remember, at that point, when McGrew hit that curve, and that allowed Catil to get through. But look at his roll speed again through 2 and 3. He really owns that piece of track.
Yeah, he's right on him. The difficult part is Houghton is so much faster in a straight line, so Catil's either going to have to get it done in a braking zone or corner.
Well, that's where if you can get that overlap just like that, and he ducks to the inside. that door open. And that's one of the things, Houghton drove what would normally be the fastest line by yourself, but not a great line when there's somebody really hungry behind you. And now he's got to turn in a little early and defend on Coutil. He still was a little wide there, but it didn't hurt him too much. But like you said, he's got straight line. And although Coutil in that draft, Coutil is using that draft a little bit. Now we'll see what happens here in this kink. Wickedly quick piece of track. And now Coutil had to get out of it. Now does Houghton defend just a little bit? You are allowed to defend. And he does when he goes wide. And Coutil ducks down underneath. Midair, side by side, up into turn 12. And let's see, does Coutil go for the over-under? He's thinking about it. He's got a little bit of overlap. He's there. Houghton has to, by rule, give him that space. Coutil now has the nose ahead, heading into the final turn. And look at what McGrew is doing. Can the Corvette over-under here and beat them both to the line with the grunt? Here he comes. Coutil trying to defend Houghton, but it's now McGrew in second. Houghton trying to get after it at the line. How close do you like it, folks? Coutil gets the second win by a 10th over McGrew. The top three, Chris, covered by under a quarter of a second.
Yeah, and for the second race in a row, we see McGrew drag racing Houghton to the line and beating him out.
Absolutely unbelievable. Boy, I'll tell you, this Grid Life Touring Cup racing is exceptional. And again, just another superb drive by Eric Coutil.
Yeah, I love the move Coutil made in turn 12. He did the crossover on Houghton and just executed it perfectly.
So we just got off the dyno. The nice thing about GLTC is they do dyno compliance checks throughout the weekend. So you have to claim a horsepower and it's a power to weight class. So I claimed 204 coming into this weekend with a 50 mil restrictor plate. And yeah, after that second win, which is a good thing, you normally get dyno just to make sure you're not cheating. I got 200 on the first pull, 201 and then 202. So we're actually 2 horsepower under what I claimed. And I also am carrying a bunch of extra weight just to cover me, just in case I read a little bit high in the dyno. As long as you're still within that power to weight ratio that you claimed, you're safe. So extra 100 pounds inside the car and a 2 horsepower buffer means nice and safe, not gonna get disqualified. So that's officially second place. I did have a little bit of a bump with James Allen, which destroyed my other freaking corner light. 2 brand new corner lights, 2 broken corner lights, 2 races. Yeah, that's why I don't buy JDM ones. But yeah, that's gonna get reviewed, and I think Renee's gonna take a look at it and see if there's any action needed on that. Best case scenario, I keep the win. Middle case scenario is me and Houghton swap positions. Worst case, I may even get DNF. So I guess we'll see. I don't think it was a big hit. It was just a slight little nudge, just because I misjudged the clearance of my front end. It's hard when I sit this far back in the car. It makes it extremely difficult to judge the front of my car. So, but anyway, man, that was an epic first race. I put new Hawk Year 1 pads on, and they always take a little bit to bed in. And no joke, the first few laps, super sketch. And then slowly but surely, the pads kind of came in. And then by the middle point of the race, I was on it. I ran a 41.8, which is my fastest lap of the weekend. and I just reeled it out in and got that win. So let's go 2 for 2, baby. Great way to start the season. I'm super pumped. I over-undered a guy, and I didn't quite clear him. My other corner, no. That's a pretty big dent. I hit his bumper beam, that's what happened. And I had nothing here, so yeah, I'll push it back out, it'll be all right. So yeah, one corner light done, the other corner light done. Yeah, Charlie, what's going on, man? I know. We need a longer bumper beam because I keep hitting people.
I got you.
Yeah, honestly, Eric.
It was this side, now this side.
You should just leave it like this, because obviously you need the clearance.
Yeah, that's a good point. I need the extra clearance. That's why S1000s have like a V-nose, so they can over-under people. But yeah, that's a little badly damaged. Yep. Yeah, I'll fix it. It'll be all right. Hopefully Renee doesn't complain about it. I'm gonna try to fix it before she shows up.
Eric Catil's bodywork.
Listen, bumpers are easy to fix. Quarter panels, not so much. Oh, wow. It's a lot harder than I thought. All right, this is a bumper off situation. I thought it would just pop right out like a little thing, but no.
Not with that attitude. How is it out there?
Good. We're good. Not terrible. Just obviously the headlight's busted, but easy fix. And then of course the bumper. Yep, broken. But chassis looks good. Just gotta hit this up a little bit, rebend this fender, and I think we're golden. So we'll probably just have to tape up something or put a piece of plastic there, because yeah, it broke quite a bit. There's pieces of plastic everywhere, and then of course my corner is broken as well. So can't seem to make these corners survive. They got the rebate though. All right, let's get this fixed up and get the car ready for race 3. So far, no word on the contact between me and James. Renee said it didn't look too bad in my in-car, so fingers crossed we can keep that win. Okay, almost like new.
Okay, so.
Nothing happened. Start bringing spare headlights and corners to the track now based on my record. But hey, good news. Renee confirmed that I kept that win, so that's good. not bad. Can't even tell. Little scuff marks, broken tails, but should be easy to fix once I replace that headlight. But yeah, both corners down. But good news is we kept that win, so gotta start on pole for race 3. Hopefully get a 3rd win. We'll see what happens. So yeah, no changes. We're going to bleed the brakes again just to make sure there's absolutely 0 fluid in the system, and then we're gonna go out for race 3. Man, what a freaking weekend, man. Good racing, good action. Everybody's loving it. The crowd's awesome. Let's keep pushing.